Hey, what's up guys? It's gootecks. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can improve your execution in Ultra Street Fighter 4 with the fight stick of your choice. I know a lot of you guys struggle with doing your combos and making sure that you can hit everything in a real match. So I'm going to be showing you guys some things that you can do to help step up your execution. But first, I gotta let you guys know about a special sponsor that helps make these videos possible, which is Crunchyroll, the online premier destination for anime fans featuring mega shows such as Naruto, Attack on Titan, Parasite, and more. They also have a premium experience where you can watch everything in HD 1080p with professional subtitles. And the best part, in my opinion, is being able to watch everything up to an hour after it premieres in Japan. That's right, an hour. So you are basically watching it with the country that it premiered right after it premieres in Japan. So Crunchyroll has all of the newest and best episodes straight from Japan, and you can check it out. You guys might know that I'm not the biggest anime fan, mostly because I haven't really seen a lot, right? Like, I've only seen Afro Samurai and Samurai Champloo. So I posted on Twitter, I was like, hey guys, what do you guys think I should be watching on Crunchyroll? And I actually got quite a lot of responses. And one thing that I hadn't considered was that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which is a Capcom fighting game that they recently re-released. It's actually based on an anime, so that's available on Crunchyroll. Also, another one, Hokuto no Ken, Fist of the North Star, that's also a fighting game that's based on an anime. But I got lots of responses, so I guess I got a lot of catching up to do. Hunter x Hunter, Darker Than Black, JoJo's again, Tokyo Ghoul, Parasite. So anyways, there is a ton of stuff that you can watch on Crunchyroll. So all you got to do to get 30 days free is click the link in the description and check out Crunchyroll. So now let's get right into it. So basically, what I'm going to be showing you guys today is first how to properly hold the stick, as well as how you should be positioning your buttons and your button hand. So, please excuse my crotch shot. Okay, so basically the first thing that you need to know is, we'll start with the left hand. So there's many ways to hold the stick, but the way that I'm going to show you guys is probably the way that's most common, which is to hold it in between your middle and ring finger, like so. Now, I noticed that a lot of you guys, when you're playing on stick, those of you guys that are maybe only playing online or have never really played in person, you guys are playing, you guys are trying to like do your stuff, do your fireballs and stuff, holding the stick like this. And you'll notice that my hand is like completely up. So it's usually some variation of this, or sometimes it's like this, I don't know. But basically the first thing that you need to do is understand that you need to plant your left hand on the base of the stick right here and keep it here. This basically almost never ever moves. In 98% of your matches, 98% of the time, this will almost never move. The only time that it really will move is, let's say you're trying to like shake out of a dizzy or something like that. But what you have to understand is that the stick, like 90% of your stick movement is actually done with these three fingers right here, your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger. And you should be keeping the base of your hand on the base of the stick like this, and moving, pulling and pushing like this. Notice how it's not, it's not like that. It's very precise and it's very quiet. If you can hear, here's the true test. If you're playing somebody online, or let's say you're playing somebody on PC, and they can hear you, they can hear you on the stick, you're doing it wrong. Imagine that you are 10 years old and you are trying to play Street Fighter online or on your TV or whatever, but you don't want your mom to hear because it's late. And if your mom hears you play, you are in big trouble, mister. There we go. So basically, the reason for this is because when you're really loud, it leads to two things. One is being imprecise with your movements, which we're going to get into in a bit. And two, If you're playing in person with somebody, it's a dead giveaway. Trust me, it is a dead giveaway. When I'm sitting next to somebody and they're mashing really hard, I'm like, okay, first, this guy has no idea what he's doing, so I know I'm going to destroy him. Second, even if you don't know really what you're doing, it's a dead giveaway. Because lots of times people who are playing in person, they sense that you can't help but notice that the guy next to you is mashing. So you want to keep everything as quiet and precise as possible. And so I'm going to remind you again that you need to control the stick with just these 3 fingers. So this part stays on the base of the stick, and you're doing everything, just like this. So now, okay, let's talk about the right hand. And I'm going to show you guys what the inputs look like in a second. Okay, so your right hand, sometimes people like to have their fingers out straight like this. I find that you should try to play more like a piano player and curve your fingers a little bit like this, because it'll be easier, it should be easier for you to do certain motions, such as pianoing or plinking, if your fingers are kind of bent. Also, when you're pressing buttons, like one button, I want you to instead use your index and your middle finger as one finger. And the reason for that is because your 2 fingers combined should be about the size of the button, so it should be easier to be more precise. Also, it keeps, when you bend these 2 fingers like this, it keeps these 2 fingers up basically naturally. So you don't have to worry about, let's say, accidentally pressing some button that you shouldn't, because these 2 fingers are up. Also, you don't want to be using your thumb to press light kick. If you tech throws like this, that's okay. But if you're trying to keep your hands like this, and let's say trying to do like, let's say short tatsu with Evil Ryu or something, you don't want to be using this finger. You want to be using your newfound double finger, your index and middle finger, like this. So the only time you would use, and if you're trying to tech throws, this is okay, and this is okay. You could also do it like this. But basically, your thumb is almost useless, except when it comes to teching throws. But me personally, like I used to tech throws like this, actually, in third strike. And I probably actually do focus like this. But the reason for that is because it seems like there's less room for error when, if you're trying to tech like this with 2 buttons, you have a chance of, let's say, hitting light kick before you hit light punch, or vice versa, But if you just use your middle finger, cross it like this, you're basically going to be hitting at the exact same time. Okay, so now that we talked about the basic positioning of how you want the stick, how you want your hands, now let's take a look at the actual game itself. So basically, this is how, and you're going to have to practice dashing. Notice how I'm dashing. Notice how I'm not even using, you could do it like this. You could do it like this, but some people try to like push like this. This is, I don't know, to me that's inefficient. I'm just using one finger, actually. I'm using my middle finger, or you could use your, you could do it like that as well. But basically, as you can see, like there's no reason to have to like go like this or any sort of like weird movement like that. Dashing this way, you'll see I'm doing it only basically with my thumb. And yeah, like my wrist is moving a little bit, but the base of my hand is still planted like that. Okay, so now let's talk about inputs. So one of the main issues that I find is that when people learn how to play on stick, because whatever, they see everybody else playing on stick, they think I should play on stick too, fine. But one thing that you guys have to be very concerned with is the preciseness of your inputs. Now, the best thing to do is to go into training mode, go to training options, and then make sure that attack data and input display data are on. The reason for this is because, as we'll probably get to in another video, it's important to understand why you're messing up your inputs or where in the combo you went wrong. And the best way to do that is with input display on. So let's just go through the basics with Evil Ryu, right? We're just going to do fireballs, right? Here, let me switch it to this. So now let's look at these inputs a little bit closer. Now, as we all know, the input for a fireball is down, down right, down forward, and punch. Notice my inputs here on the left-hand side of the screen. If your inputs are not that precise, or you have like a down back in there or an up forward or something like that, you need to go back and start with the super basics. I worked with a guy not too long ago who was using Zangief, and he couldn't SPD. And so what I had him do was practice just rolling from forward to back like this, over and over and over and over. I mean, you guys have to understand, this part of playing Street Fighter or any fighting game it's like playing an instrument, in the same way that if you've ever taken piano lessons or played guitar or whatever, you have to sit there and hone your execution. Like, I don't know how it works in League or Dota or Call of Duty or or any of these other games, but you have to. This is just part of being good at Street Fighter, is just having to spend the time in in training mode, working on your execution. So, and I don't know, I hope you can hear. I hope you can hear the stick, or actually, better yet, I hope you can't hear the stick, because it should be very quiet. So, what I want you to do is practice walking back and forward like this. Sometimes, guys are like, when I tell them to walk back and forth like this, they're like, it's like really jerky, they're like imprecise. But I want you to think of yourself as a small Japanese boy that's playing in a room past his bedtime, and he's got to play very quietly and wants to do everything very precisely and efficiently. That's the way you're supposed to be doing the motions in Street Fighter. So, let's see. Okay, so let's just go through what these motions look like. Okay, so we went through the fireball. Now here's the uppercut. Fireball, uppercut. Fireball, uppercut. Now let's do the other side. Fireball, uppercut. Fireball, uppercut. So basically what you're going to need to do is commit, if your execution does not look like this, where the inputs are extremely clean. I mean, I'm obviously like, I'm trying to be extra clean so I can show you guys, but the thing is, like, I can throw 1,000 fireballs and just, I can just do it every time. So if you're not able to do that, if you're not able to do something like 10 times without failing in Street Fighter on both sides, you need to work on your execution. A lot of people think like, oh, well, I did my one combo in trial mode, like I'm good at execution. No, you need to be able to hit this 10 times in a row on both sides in order to feel confident that you could do it in a real match. Because what ends up happening is this. Think of your brain as a multi-core computer processor, right? Like, let's say almost every computer today has like a 4-core processor, right? Right now, chances are, if you're watching this video, you are using 3 of your 4 cores on execution, because you're like, oh man, like I gotta hit this combo, you know, I gotta like do this crazy combo in this match or whatever. And so too much of your brain is brain cycles are being spent on execution. By improving your execution in training mode and practicing over and over and over again, you can get it so that, let's say your execution is only using one core, leaving 3 other cores for stuff like decision making, risk reward, being more observant about what your opponent is doing, thinking about, you know, how much meter and how much life, how much time is still left in the match. You know, all of these things are important, but you cannot devote brain cycles to these things when too many brain cycles are spent on execution. So I guess that about wraps it up. Let me know if you guys have questions. But basically, here are some action steps for you, but actually before I let you guys go. So if you're new to playing stick, I want you to practice this. Dashing forward. Just dashing forward over and over and over, back and forth. Like you're doing laps on the football field or laps in the pool or whatever. And don't just mash it, just actually, you know, do the dash, wait, do the dash, wait, do the dash, wait. Just like this, back and forth. Maybe you do like 10 laps, right? Every time before you start playing, until you don't have to do this anymore in training mode because you're comfortable with it. So let's say 10 laps back and forth. And then let's say you throw 100 fireballs on each side. You know? So practice the special moves of each of your character until you can hit them 100 times. I mean, practice until, you know, you're doing 100 times. Let's say 10 sets of 10 on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And, you know, one trick that you can do to help save a little bit of time is to use the memory function and then the reload function, which you press the back button on the stick. So basically what you could do is uppercut, reset, uppercut, reset. Actually, you should do it so that it starts closer. So you uppercut, 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 and then switch to the other side. Uppercut, 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 just like this. You just have to do this over and over. Now, I know you guys are busy. Hey, we're all busy, right? This is why it's important to optimize your training as much as possible. Anyways, guys, that about wraps it up. Next time, maybe sometime in the future, I'll make a video on how to actually practice, you know, doing stuff 10 times in a row and practicing new combos and stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching. Really appreciate the time. And if you're looking for some personal training, I do offer personal coaching. So go to crosscountertraining.com/gootecks. Thank you for watching. See you later.